Hello, developers, and welcome to the PHP Community Corner podcast, where we have conversations with members of the web development community. I'm your host, Scott Keck-Warren, and today we're talking with Peter and Easton Meth about their talks that they're giving at phptek 2025. Peter is a software engineer, architect, and community leader with over 20 years of experience building and maintaining scalable applications and teams. He's passionate about learning, teaching, and talking tech, constantly adapting to keep up with the rapid evolution of software. Having spent over 10 years organizing meetups and conferences, Peter loves sharing knowledge in ways that make an impact, especially for developers looking to level up their skills. Easton is a software engineering intern at Givelify. He's always been in technology and has a knowledge of several different languages, including PHP, JavaScript, and Python. Outside of code, he likes lifting weights, hiking, and hip-hop music. So thank you both for finding some time to talk to us today.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely. So one of the reasons that you two have kind of come onto my radar is that you're going to be talking at phptek 2025 about kind of the experiences you have passing the torch in coding. Can you talk to us a little bit about the genesis of that talk and kind of a little bit about what you're going to say?
Sure. So first off, phptek is been one of my favorite conferences for a long time, although I've only been one time before, but it was one of my first PHP conferences, probably one of my first tech conferences in general. So I've always had this soft spot, and I'm happy to be coming back and speaking. And so this talk came out of, I've recently started going back to conferences after COVID and things like that. And I'm privileged to be able to bring Easton along with me, who is now, a full-fledged software developer. And he's been coming around with me to these conferences, and I always find myself getting into conversations with people at those conferences about what our journey has been. How did Easton get into this? Oh, it's so cool that, father and son are at these conferences together. And, I have a few stories that I always tell. And I thought, it would be really interesting if I could turn this into a talk. It started out maybe as a joke, and then I thought more and more about it and thought, that actually might make a good entertaining talk. It's not something you typically see at conferences, people talking about, but I know there's a lot of parents at these conferences who have thoughts about their kids and, what their career they're going to go into. But you also have people that are maybe children of technical parents that can have things to relate to this. So I thought it was just be a good opportunity to give a very relatable talk, and really, more chances to bond with my son and, just go on this adventure together.
That sounds really awesome. I really kind of resonate with this talk idea because I'm both the son of a technical father and the father of two daughters. And so I think that to me, I'm just oh, this is really just hitting me right in the right spot to be involved in both sides of the conversation. So I'm really kind of curious to see how that all works out. And so how was how did it come to be about that you both ended up going into tech?
I can take this one. Definitely from a young age, I was introduced by Peter to a lot of, technical things and computers and I had my own PC by the age of 5, and I was, I was always exposed to that type of thing because it is something that, that Peter is obviously very passionate about. And I think he always kind of wanted to, inflict that on me. And, throughout me growing up, throughout my life, I was, he was kind of always, encouraging me to, try to, find opportunities where I can learn, stuff about programming or stuff about computers and just kind of, I think that it was always something that I also just, found interesting, and I thought that it was kind of cool. Like, it wasn't like he was like forcing me or anything. He was just kind of, nudging me to kind of learn more about that and whatnot. And yeah, and then it just, throughout time, I picked up a lot of things from him, learned a lot of things. He kind of pushed me in that direction, and then I kind of took it and, ran with it. And yeah, today I officially am a professional software developer, and I don't regret it at all.
That's really great to hear. So like I have kind of like the same thing where like my dad introduced me to computers like at a young age. We bought like a computer when it was like a novelty. Like essentially like computers weren't in people's houses the way they are today. And like I see that as like a huge benefit to me as like a person and as a professional, right? And so it's really nice to hear like you kind of have like the same path I do where like, oh, I built my own computer and I learned from my dad a bunch of stuff. And then the interesting thing I'm at now is like I'm so far ahead of my dad. Like my dad, like he was doing embedded systems development, and now I'm a web developer, which is totally like not the same thing at all. So it's really interesting, like having conversations with him, and he'll go, "Oh, back in the old day, we did this," and I'm like, "Well, nowadays we have Amazon Web Services, and it takes care of all that for us." So yeah, it's really fascinating. So I know that you both also have like other talks that you're giving at the conference. Do you want to give us a little bit of a introduction into some of those pieces as well? Like, what is it that you're going to talk about? We'll start out with Peter.
Yes, I'm giving 3 talks. The first, actually, I don't know the sequence of them, but one of them is going to be about cron jobs and the common mistakes that people make when writing cron jobs. Another one is architectural related. It's microservices architecture for PHP developers. And then, of course, this talk, the father-son talk.
Yeah. And those all sound fascinating. I'm struggling to decide which talks to go to this year. It's been a real challenge for me, especially since like those two also are like we do a lot with cron. It's like a big process for us and a lot of background processes, and also we're working on microservices. So it's an important piece for everybody. So Easton, I see that you're talking about filament. Do you want to give us a little bit of introduction on that?
Yeah. So, my other talk aside from the father-son talk is, it's titled Admin Product and Beyond with Filament PHP. It's just kind of going to be, just a bit of a crash course on how to get started with Filament. It seems to be a pretty popular topic for that people kind of mention here and there at these PHP conferences, and I have a good amount of experience working with Filament at Givelify, so I figured it'd be a good thing to kind of give a talk on. And so yeah, if you're curious about Filament PHP and you kind of want a bit of an introduction and see what it's capable of, definitely come check that out.
And Filament is are you mostly going to be talking about how you can use it for admin backend stuff, or are you also going to talk about how you can pull it kind of into the user front end?
Filament in general is kind of targeted towards more like, kind of admin panel style applications. But, I also end my talk am going to be, talking a little bit about how it can be used kind of outside of that context. So that's kind of where the, product and beyond comes from.
Oh, okay. That's always the part that like I find I struggle with, is like how to pull those things back out into like user space. Essentially, it's like like it makes a really nice admin panel, but then I have to go and like build something else for the users to use, right? I have to build my own set of forms, but the Filament gets around that, right? Like there's a way to kind of like embed it into like a nicer like look of things.
Yeah. Like you can kind of customize all the styling, and then all their components within like, the panel builder you can use outside, and like, separate Livewire stuff and Blade and whatnot. So yeah, I'm kind of going to be kind of covering that in my talk as well near the end.
Okay, awesome. All these sound interesting. Again, I'm struggling with what to go see. So it's going to be a challenge for sure. So it's a good thing it's pre-recorded or re-recorded. It's a good thing it's recorded so that I can then go and watch these things, at my leisure, essentially. So one of the things I've been trying to ask all of the conference speakers is just if you have any like tips or tricks for people who are going to the conference so that they can get like the most out of the conference itself.
Yeah, one of the things that I tried to do, and this is something that I shared with Easton early on, these conferences, there's always a social time. Often there's meal periods as well, where people are sitting at tables. And what we try to do is we'll sit with a different group of people each time. And, particularly people we don't know. There's a group of people sitting there, ask if we can come and join them and, share a meal, share some conversation. And I find that's worked out really well. That's mine.
I have to echo that. Like, that's actually, I have an article coming out, and that's one of my suggestions as well, is to just kind of like go find places, like go meet other people, right? And like lunchtime is an excellent time to I just try to pick a random table that has some empty seating and then have a conversation with those people. So definitely a good tip. I wholeheartedly endorse it as a suggestion. So
I was gonna kind of say that as well. Like, yeah, like I think that the one of the biggest aspects of these conferences that I think can be very beneficial is that, networking and, maybe kind of stepping out of your comfort zone to go and talk to people that you're not familiar with. And yeah, I think that was kind of a big thing when I kind of started going to these conferences is, I was a little intimidated by that and like just going up to like strangers and like, people I'm not familiar with. But that's definitely been something I've been trying to do more. I think another thing too that is cool about these conferences is that you can speak with the actual people giving talks as well. Like, it doesn't just have to be, members of the audience that you go up to. It's like, if you find someone who gave a talk and, you want to talk to them about it, just go up to them and, and then yeah, you can get almost your own type of exclusive interview about their talk. You can talk about any questions you may have had about it. And I think definitely one of the most important things is that social aspect and trying to meet as many people as possible. Get their LinkedIn too so you can stay in contact. And that would probably be my biggest advice.
As a speaker, nothing makes me happier than if I give a talk and somebody comes up and asks follow-up questions. Like, especially if it's like later, if like, like sometimes like I'll get like a handful of people that'll come up and they'll ask me a couple questions. And then it's really nice if I'm like getting lunch or getting breakfast and somebody's like, can I ask you a bunch of questions? And I'm always like, yes. Cause like that really like, resonated with me. So definitely go talk to the speakers. Like I know that like, especially at tech, most of the people are fairly like open and willing to talk. It's a really nice group to do those kind of things. So don't feel bad that like you're going to go up to somebody and they're going to be like, oh, you're an idiot for not knowing that. That just doesn't happen. Well, I mean, it may happen, but it doesn't usually happen. So we'll be right back after this word from our sponsors. Did you know that downtime costs $427 per minute on average for small businesses and up to $9,000 a minute for medium-sized businesses? That's every single minute. HoneyBadger helps you avoid costly downtime and saves you money by combining error tracking, performance monitoring, uptime monitoring, and more into one easy-to-use platform, helping you fix outages faster than ever. Best of all, HoneyBadger is free to get started, and setup takes as little as 5 minutes. Be sure to bookmark HoneyBadger.io. That's HoneyBadger.io. So Peter, is there anything that you want to direct our listeners to before I let you go for today?
Well, you can please connect with me on LinkedIn. Just look up my name, Peter Meth. I don't use a whole lot of other social these days. Kind of confused about Twitter and X and the state of things over there. I am on Mastodon. And I do my cron talk. I am going to be bringing up an open source project that Easton and I started called Cron Pilot. You can check that out on GitHub. Just look for Cron Pilot. And I will be speaking a little bit about that during my talk. And I'd love it if people check that project out, contributed, used it on their projects, gave me feedback, criticism, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, and we'll provide links to that in the description for this episode. So, Easton, do you have anything you want to direct people to?
Just me on LinkedIn as well. You can look up my name. Also on X, formerly Twitter, I am at Easton Meth. Definitely check out Cron Pilot. It's kind of an interesting project we have surrounding crons. It's kind of in an early developmental stage right now. So it'd be awesome if we could get any contributors to check that out. But LinkedIn, X, and Cron Pilot. Yeah, I'd say the main things.
Awesome. Thank you both for your time today.
Thank you so much, Scott. It was a pleasure.
Of course, yes.
I have to say another heartfelt thank you to Peter and Easton today for their time and also for yours for listening. If you're not already a subscriber, please make sure you subscribe with whatever your preferred method is so you can get episodes as soon as they're released. Maybe share this post with a coworker so they can know about the awesome talks that we're going to be having at phptek. This podcast is available both as an audio version on the PHP Architect website, as well as a video version on our YouTube channel. This is Goers Warren for the PHP Architect Community Corner signing off and reminding you to keep listening, keep coding, and keep reading.